Hey guys, welcome to Comic Talk, a show where I give you a list of the newest comics coming out this week and tell you if I love them or hate them. This week, it's Comic-Con week, and we have tons upon tons of news, so let's get it rolling. Before we get into all that is Comic-Con 2014, I have to do my duty and show you the list of comics hitting our comic shelves today. So just watch this. Really fast. It's really quick. Every year, one massive event takes place, not only in the physical, but in the hearts and minds of all who love anything and everything that is nerddom. From comic books to movies and games and everything in between, Comic-Con is the place to be if you fancy yourself a true nerd and wish to get a sneak peek at the various new things being released in the not-so-distant future. This year, we were eagerly awaiting to see a sneak peek at Batman vs. Superman, and oh dear sweet lord, did they deliver. For those of you living under a rock, the movie Batman vs. Superman was announced only months after the release of the much-anticipated Superman reboot starring Henry Cavill. Man of Steel saw the production minds of Zack Snyder, who worked on some of the most epic of comic book movies, the likes of 300 and The Watchmen, both of which subsequently launched the green screen revolution. And The Dark Knight, successful Christopher Nolan. Let me just take a sidebar here really fast and say that I fucking love Christopher Nolan. I fucking love him. The combo of these two with the already lovable character that is Superman created a movie that brought with it a breath of fresh air, as well as some very nostalgic memories for those who were already hardcore fans. And so, from the depths of the Marvel Cinematic Age, the DC revolution had begun. Shortly after, a hushed whisper grew increasingly louder from the comic community. Brief discussion on the possibility of a new reboot for our most beloved of character. In my opinion, the man for the job was absolutely Snyder. His ability to take a still image and transfer that which we have already oh so loved into something new and fresh is something that is very rare in the cinematic industry. My hope initially was that they wouldn't take the Schumacher route and would instead go with a much more visceral, no-holds-barred Batman similar to Frank Miller's The Dark Knight. Well, this year at Comic-Con, our prayers were answered. Comic-Con goers were treated with a sneak peek at one of this year's most anticipated films, and Zack Snyder delivered 150%. As worried fans sat in wait in hopes that Batfleck would not fail us, they were flashed something that would make their hearts stop. This! Okay, so I can't actually show you the clip, as I want to continue to make this show, but I can promise you that it was incredible. Snyder did in fact deliver with something that I am highly anticipating and will absolutely go see. And we also got to meet our Wonder Woman of the film, and she's pretty smoking, not gonna lie. Next up, for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it was announced that Josh Brolin would play the voice of Thanos. This does not mean, however, that Thanos will be in Age of Ultron. Don't confuse this yourselves. For Age of Ultron, we did get to see some of the new poster work, among other goodies. Oh, also, did I say Ant-Man? Did I say that? Ant-Man has actually been under production by various directors and has undergone quite a few rewrites in its years. So Marvel, please, don't let it become your modern-day Fantastic Four. What? They're rebooting that one too? Pull it together, Marvel. Once again, DC swoops in from the shadows and absolutely steals the limelight from Marvel this year with its absolute push for television coverage. This year we'll see the third season of Arrow, which has gained much success in its 2 years, and even spawned a counterpart show. This year, the bad guy that Oliver will have to duke it out with is none other than Ra's al Ghul. Arguably Batman's bitterest rival, Ra's al Ghul is the absolute perfect baddie to bring into a universe that for all intents and purposes is Batman-free. Speaking of Batman, we also got to see some sneak peeks at the new show Gotham. Set at the moment of Bruce Wayne's parents' death, we find Detective Gordon as our lead, with a promise to catch the one guilty of his parents' murder. Looks pretty promising, and I must say that Marvel dominates the big screen, but when it comes to TV, DC outranks Marvel even if you have an amazing producer working on your show, like Joss Whedon. That being said, there were other panels that grabbed my attention, one of which was The Walking Dead. They showed a new clip for the next season and even announced a possible spin-off series. Also in Kirkman news, there was a panel for his new flick, Air, starring Walking Dead's own Norman Reedus and Djimon Hounsou. The story focuses on the two of them, the last remaining truly alive humans. Whilst the supposed saviors of humanity lie in cryogenic sleep, the two must try and hold on to their own sense of society and sanity, if but only for humanity's sake. This movie is sure to be amazing, as Kirkman is no stranger to making us hate our previously loved characters and killing them off in an instant. Last on the previews list today is The Flash. Set during the events of the second season of Arrow and moving forward, we find Barry Allen learning to take a grip on the powers that he was given. Mentored by Oliver Queen at first, he quickly finds his full strength and becomes the Flash that we have all come to know and love. I must say, at first, I was all for the show, but now after seeing a bunch of previews and stills, I'm becoming increasingly worried that it might get too gimmicky for new fans seeking out the comic market. It's already really hard to make someone look like they are traveling faster than the speed of sound. And also, the Flash is a character that almost breaks the reality barrier every time. So will those kooky parts work? Will that actually translate? These are just some of the questions that I ask myself sometimes. Like, why is the sky blue? Why can't dogs look up? That's all for today's episode of Comic Talk. I know today wasn't so much about the physical of comic books, but a vast majority of comic story lovers in the modern age come from what they see on the big screen, where a lot of people would frown their faces and make jokes about how real paper is and how so-and-so write a better story than what the movie is. I personally think that this is awesome. What the cinematic universes of our favorite comic characters allows is an image-based version of what our imagination can come up with, something tangible. So I leave you with this question: is that not what comic books are all about? My name is Nick Hine, and this has been Comic Talk.